Hey 71, how are you? It's good to see you. I'm so glad that you had a Merry Christmas. I hope that you all had a good holiday. I don't know if you guys think like I do, but I overthink a whole lot, and I was like, should I ask people if they had a Merry Christmas, because I'm not naive enough to think that the holidays are good for everybody, you know? So I had made this rule in my head that I would tell people about my holiday, and then that way, if they wanted to tell me about theirs, they could. And then if they didn't want to. So that's how I had decided to do it. So, you're making shorts today? Oh, that's cool. I love your shorts. I'll have to come over and check it out. Hey, Nature Rocks, how are you? And Shaylee, it's good to see you too. It's good to see all you guys. I've been having something going on with my ears, and I was thinking, I swear, you guys, I was thinking this right before I started. I was like, well, it's like they um it's like they stop up for like 2 seconds, but then they're right back okay. And it's only one of them. And I'm like, what if I can't hear my subscribers when they're talking? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I read what they say, you guys. Hopefully, I can read what you're saying. I'd be having way bigger problems if I couldn't see what you guys were saying. Oh my goodness. I'm crazy sometimes. So today, you guys, but it just started this morning, and so hopefully it's just like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look for some natural cures after this. I've heard that eating garlic cloves are a good antibiotic. That's what my mama says, but and sometimes a lot of times, you guys, you wouldn't think that her natural cures would work, but they really really do. And but I don't know if I could eat two whole cloves a day. Van, do you know if you got to eat them raw, or if they're okay if you cook them first? I'm not sure, 71. It's just like, hey, it's just me. Good to see you. How are you? 71, it's just like one of them stops up for like 2 seconds, and then it'll go back and be fine. Hey, Tony, good afternoon. It's good to see all you guys. You guys, I had a very good Christmas too. My big sister bought me a really neat microphone, and but I was in, the editing app where I make my videos and stuff at, and it sounded really really good. But then I came on StreamYard, and I just was in here by myself, just recording myself to see how it sounded, and it didn't sound so good. So it's something with StreamYard. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Um, 71, I'm not even using it yet. It's not it sounded great in Clip Champ, but then when I got on here, it sounded like the volume was going in and out. So I think what it is that I have to figure out the settings for StreamYard. Yeah. 71, that's what I've heard too. And there's more buttons on here for your mic. You have to figure out how to there's like all kinds of buttons for I usually just keep echo cancellation on, but there's one for automatic mic adjustment and stuff like that. But I will get it figured out. It ain't gonna get me, sucker. I will figure it out. um, Today, you guys, I there is a case out of Stockton, California, and I watch Titanium Built a lot, but I would have been looking into this case because let me tell you guys this: if I don't get your notifications for your channels and stuff, it's because I have so many notifications. If there was ever a case that I research, I always subscribe to the local news station, and so I had been subscribed to this one in Stockton because of remember back in July we covered the case of little Athena and Mateo. Hi Firelight, how are you? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I don't know how to say your first name. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. Zalsandra Firelight. That's beautiful. Um, and so they're still missing, you guys, and I have an update at the end for them. Little little Mateo and his sister Athena. We I covered their case on 7/11/24. So I think that's why I was subscribed to this channel. But anyways, so I had seen that about the Alicia and Reuel being murdered, and so I saw on Titanium Built. Oh, really? Well, that's awesome. That's what we try to do here. We try to do our little bit to spread awareness that we can. And we know that it only takes the right person to see. We do our very best. And so on Titanium Built, somebody from she had made a post asking what cases should cover, and somebody commented under there and was telling her about this case too, and they said that they'd only seen it on their local news station, and that they'd seen one other creator speaking on it. So I figured we would do our part, you guys. It's and plus it involves domestic violence, and you guys know how I feel about that. So I also made a community post yesterday, and it has the information and the phone numbers and everything. So if you guys could share that information, if you even if you don't share my channel or anything, and just share the information, that is all that matters. That would be greatly appreciated. And also, scrolling across the bottom of my screen, I also have the phone numbers that you can contact if you know anything about his whereabouts whatsoever, Julio. So first, I'm going to show you guys his picture and stuff, so we can go ahead and get his picture up, and then I will tell you about the victims. Absolutely, because you know we like to do that here too. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so first I'm going to read you what the Stockton police they made this post. And you guys, they were killed the day before Christmas Eve, so December 23rd. It says on December 23rd, 2024, at approximately 11 p.m., officers responded to the 2500 block of Bellevue Avenue on a report of 2 unresponsive subjects. They arrived on scene and located a 43-year-old female and a 19-year-old male, both unresponsive. And those 2 people, you guys, was Alicia. And some places say Alice, but on the GoFundMe and other places I've seen it Alicia, so I'm going to stick with Alicia, and her 19-year-old son, Reuel. Alicia was a mother of 3. I believe she had 2 sons and a daughter. Hey, Debbie, how are you? It's okay. We're just getting started. And her older daughter is the one that found them, you guys. She had been trying to get in touch with her mom and her brother all day, and so she decided to go over there about 11 p.m. And you guys, she's absolutely pitiful. She says she can't eat, she can't sleep, and she can't get the picture of what she saw out of her head. And sometimes I think about that, you guys, and I would just like to take those memories from people. I think about that a lot of times with the first responders, what they must see that they can't ever unsee, you know? And her daughter, Marissa, she says that her mama was her very best friend, and she said that she was always making people laugh. And I did find an obituary for her, and it said that she loved to hike and was outdoorsy and stuff like that. So, and then Reuel, his sister said that he was a very sweet kid, had a soft heart, and his dad said that he was an entrepreneur. He didn't ask for anything for Christmas except for his computer, and he was already making money on his computer that way. So a very smart kid, and they did not deserve this. So it says SPD homicide detectives responded and assumed the investigation. The motive appears to be domestic related. That's another reason that I wanted to speak on this case, you guys. And I'm going to be dropping links throughout. And everybody that knows me knows that DV, domestic violence, is very close to my heart. And I will always speak up for those victims. And I will be honest, it's hard for me to be unbiased in these situations. And I'm not going to lie to kick it and pretend like I am, because I'm not. So I try to do my best, but I just can't help it. It says, suspect Julio Ceasar Valdez, 38. And I will show you guys. I've only been able to find 2 pictures of him, but allegedly he was Alicia's boyfriend. And it said that they don't know what I read. It said they didn't know if any restraining orders were in place, but they do know that he didn't force his way into the apartment. So they do know that. And it says his vehicle is a gray 4-door sedan. And I will show you guys pictures of his car too. And the police didn't show pictures of his car, but I found the pictures on Marissa, Alicia's daughter, and Reuel's sister, on her Facebook. And I also found a picture on 220 News, I believe it is. I put them on my community post. Hey, Kathy, how are you? It is, Kathy. It's absolutely horrific. And so it says, if you recognize this suspect or have information that further assists the investigation, please contact Stockton PD or Stockton Crime Stoppers. And also, you guys, it said you can remain anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward. And right now they have a $10,000 cash reward. And here is all, and I have all of this in my description too. And also, you guys, I wanted to, and in my community post, but also, you guys, I have the their GoFundMe in my description too. It's for burial expenses for these 2. And you guys know what I always say about GoFundMes: do your own due diligence. But I wouldn't feel right if I didn't share that. So it is in my description too. Okay, now let's look at this winner. This is the winner. Julio Ceasar Valdez. And I got this picture off that 220 Glock News on Instagram. I got this one off their Instagram. And it says that he's 5'7", and they show a picture of his expired driver's license they might have found somewhere. And but of course I can't show that because it has private information on it. But on there, it says that he weighs 190 pounds. But Marissa said that he weighs 220 pounds. So either from 190 to 220 pounds. So a shorter, stockier fella. And then this is, so that picture that I showed you guys before, that one was when his beard had grown out, had been trimmed some. And this is where it's grown out a bit. And you guys know, ears don't change, so look at his ears, how they stick out a little bit. I look at stuff like that to try to put it in my brain what it looks like. And it says that his hair is black and his eyes are brown. And then this is the vehicle. It's a 4-door. It looks like a Chrysler, and that is the license plate. And then that's a front picture of it. So it looks like it's got really dark tinted windows. And Reuel's dad, Rudy, he is asking everybody on Facebook, you guys, to be on the lookout for, this monster. He is a monster in my mind. And I'll just show you guys what he posted right here. This is from Reuel's dad, and it says, I'm Reuel's dad. I believe the coward went to Mexico. If anyone has a family member that is in the law enforcement in Mexico or can help share on social media in Mexico and USA, or any programs who can help, anything will help get justice. And that's the problem with a lot of cases that happen in California. They can just easily cross the border so easily. It's a lot easier to get into Mexico than to get out of it. And so they and on another place I saw that he does have friends and family in Tijuana. So that's good to remember too. Yeah, I doubt that he still has that car either, 71. Yeah, I really do. Okay, so let me see what else that I've got you guys. Oh, you guys, I did want to tell you too, in one article I saw that it tells that they were I'll tell you what the police said first. They're saying that Reuel died from lacerations. So it sounds like sharp force injuries, and they're not telling how Alicia passed away yet. But they did say that there's no gunshot wounds or cuts or anything like that. And in two articles I read, trigger warning, you guys. Warning. Hey, Neat Noodle, happy Monday, and Hippie Chick. My girls, how are you guys? It's good to see you. Trigger warning, the two articles did say that they were beaten to death, you guys. Yeah, it's only a coward would do that to in my mind, I can see this little 19-year-old fella protecting his mama, and I don't blame him one bit. And so this 38-year-old Julio did what he did. And so that's what I have in my mind. So first, let's see what I wanted to show you guys first. This video first, and I'll share it with you guys so you can watch it on your own time, and it gives a good I leave myself little notes down here. This is a good summary, and so I'll share it with you guys, and you can watch it on your own time too. Hang on just one second. I'm coming back, guys.
Now, Stockton police are searching for the suspect in a double homicide. A man is wanted for the deaths of a mother and her 19-year-old son.
Police identified the suspect as 38-year-old Julio Ceasar Valdez. The victim's family tells KCRA3 that Valdez was the boyfriend of 43-year-old Alicia Montejano. Now, as Michelle Bandor reports, they're seeking justice after she and her son were found dead in their apartment.
Have you seen this man? Stockton police are searching for 38-year-old Julio Ceasar Valdez, wanted in the double murder of a mother and her 19-year-old son. Investigators say Valdez knows Alicia Montejano and Reuel Huerta.
I'm really trying to deep dive into why this homicide occurred. And so what we can tell you as of right now is it does appear to be a domestic dispute related.
The victim's family tells me Valdez was Montejano's boyfriend and are now learning of possible abuse.
It is sad, especially on Christmas.
Oh no, you guys. It said that she was her current boyfriend, I guess, and it says that they're learning of abuse, and it makes me really sad to think of what they had went through before this. And you guys know we've spoken about this, that there's all kinds of reasons why people don't leave these situations. He could have threatened her family, or anything, we don't know. And so it's always good to keep that in mind. And you guys know, I know that we don't judge over here, but I would say a lot of people are saying that in these situations. They always do, and that bugs me.
On Christmas Eve, I feel sorry for the family and their loss.
This neighbor who asked us to disguise her identity with the killer still on the streets says their apartment complex at Bellevue Avenue and East 11th Street has seen its share of violence.
It is sad because these are beautiful homes.
Police say the double murder is not random, trying to ease the fears of residents. Investigators say there was no forced entry, no gun was used. They're not saying how Valdez allegedly killed the mother, but say the son had cuts on his body.
The male was had a laceration, which appears to be that cause of death there, pending any other further autopsy.
With the tragic loss of their two loved ones, the family now grieves together on Christmas Eve instead of celebrating the holiday together.
That's something that she's going to think about every year.
And the neighbor thinks about the victim's daughter.
Yeah, guys, how sad is that too, that it was on Christmas Eve. And death anniversaries are awful anyways. But then at a time that is supposed to be joyous, it's like this. And it does look like Marissa, Alicia's daughter, it looks like she did have kids too. So awful, awful. Tony says it takes many times trying to leave a DV situation before a person can leave, sadly. That's very true. And then we know by statistics that when they are leaving, that is the most dangerous time too. Nature Rock said, sounds like he wanted to make her family suffer more. It really, really does. It really, really does. You guys know that I don't curse a lot, at all, but I save my cursing for bastards that do stuff like this, and they really are. And it's awful. Awful, awful.
Daughter who found her mother and younger brother around 11 Monday night. She got worried when she didn't hear from her mom all day and then checked on her, only to find her mother and younger brother dead.
I give all the love to the daughter, and I'm praying for her because that is something no one should ever see, ever. Especially on the holidays.
I did ask police if officers had made any previous domestic calls to that apartment or if there was a protection order out against the suspect. They could not give me that information at this time, but police say the suspect, Julio Valdez, drives a gray four-door sedan, and they hope anyone with information can help lead to his capture and arrest, and that could bring a $10,000 reward from Crime Stoppers. Reporting in Stockton, Michelle Bandor, KCRA 3 News.
Michelle, thank you. The family is holding a candlelight vigil tonight to remember the victims. It's at East 12th Street and Viva Plaza. They say everyone is welcome to join them.
Now, Stockton police.
I do have a little bit from that candlelight vigil too. The news said that they didn't know if there'd been any calls to that apartment before. And you guys, they were showing outside of the apartment, and it showed a bicycle, and I bet that was her kid's bike. And it's just things like that just get to me. I know, Debbie, I always save the cursing for when I really, really mean it and nothing else would fit, and there's no other words for people that harm women and children like this. Yeah, 71 active investigation. Yeah. So now I wanted to show you guys, since we know what happened, I want to show you guys what I learned about Julio's past, a little bit that I learned about that. Let me see here. Let me get you guys there. So it was a daytime shooting that occurred back in 2020. And he was arrested in 2016 for something, but I couldn't find any articles about that. But I did find this one article. There has to be a better way to search. Usually when you look up somebody's name, it tells if they're in the news big time, then that's what it tells, and you can't find stuff from many years ago. I bet there's a way to do that. So this was in 2020, and he is on probation today because of this. So he is on probation. So it seems like if he did try to cross the border, him being on probation, it would have kicked it into the system, even if he made it over before there was a warrant for his arrest, I don't know, but it says Tracy, 2 weeks after an apparent road rage incident in which a driver allegedly opened fire in the middle of the afternoon on another motorist in a busy commercial area of West Tracy, police made an arrest. So he is allegedly opening fire in the middle of the day with a bunch of people around, women, children. So it seems like about when we covered the 3 women that were killed in Columbus, well, we didn't cover it. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. That's okay, Brett. I'm glad you made it too. Yeah. He might have, Debbie. He might have had a fake ID. He reminds me of that guy that was arrested. Remember when we spoke about the 3 women that were murdered in Columbus? Remember the man that was arrested for their roommate's murder like 4 days before theirs? This guy reminds me of that guy. And also, you guys, the last time I checked, I believe it was last night or early this morning, about if there had been any arrest in that case. There hasn't been any yet. But remember that guy? He had chased his girlfriend around and had pulled a gun on her too in broad daylight. So it does remind me of that, huh? Winners. These guys are real winners. So it says it was around 2:50 p.m. July 29th when the shooting occurred in the 1700 block of West 11th Street between Tracy Boulevard and Corral Hollow Road. Officers investigating the non-injury shooting as a road rage incident identified Julio Valdez, 34, as the possible shooter, according to police. Road rage people, guys that or women too that are involved in road rage shootings like this, I feel like that they have problems with their temper real bad, or impulse. They might have impulse control problems. That's why I always tell my mama, like, my mama will, she has no fear, buddy. If somebody pulls out in front of her in traffic, or she gets real angry, and I'm like, Mom, it's not worth it, dude. Just chill, because you don't know how crazy people get in these situations, you know? But it says last Thursday, the police department's Special Investigations Unit, Special Enforcement Team, and Traffic Unit were able to locate Valdez and arrest him without incidents. Valdez was charged with suspicion of shooting at an occupied vehicle, brandishing a firearm, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and violation of parole. Valdez is being held in San Joaquin County Jail without bail and is scheduled for arraignment at Superior Court. So this was in 2020, you guys, August 2020. So it doesn't seem like another case of, it doesn't seem like he should have been out on the streets able to do what he allegedly did to this mother and son. You know, another instance. And a felon in possession of a firearm, I've heard that that's like a really, really stiff penalty, like sometimes even 10 years they get. And in California, do they still have the 3 strikes rule? It seems like if they do, this would be an instance where it needed used, you know? 71 says, yep, people don't know what other people have in their cars. No, they don't, 71, you're right. So I also have another, how I knew about this article too, is there is another article that tells more about his past. So we'll look at that, guys, too. Let me get it pulled up for us. Okay. Elizabeth says she's got too much junk in her car. You got a lot of junk in your trunk, Elizabeth? I got a lot of junk in my trunk, I tell you. Oh. So it says, suspect wanted in connection with Stockton double homicide has lengthy rap sheet. On Christmas Eve, so this is the recordnet.com, and it is a local paper, I believe. So it says, on Christmas Eve morning, some Sierra Vista apartment residents were woken up to free presents and holiday cheer from the Stockton Police Department. However, the family of a mother and her teenage son living at the same apartment complex were grieving. On December 24th, yellow crime scene tape could be seen blocking off an apartment on Bellevue Avenue with heavy police presence surrounding the area. And see here, you guys, it says Alice Montejano. But on the GoFundMe, it says Alicia, and then an old Facebook page I found for her, it said Alicia. And you guys know I usually like to know more about the victims, but that was the only Facebook page I found, and it was 10 years old, and I haven't been able to find a whole lot about them. But it says Alicia and her son Reuel Huerta, 19, had been found dead inside their home only a few hours before neighborhood children started to unwrap gifts. The man wanted in connection with the double homicide remains on the loose. Hey, all things serious, how are you? I did. I hope you did too. Thank you so very much. Hey, Sunday, good to see you. Good to see you. It says Julio Ceasar Valdez, 38, was on probation. So he might have been on probation from what I just read you guys from the road rage incident. And carries an extensive rap sheet, court records show. Through Facebook posts, the father of Huerta and Montejano's daughter have continued to plead with the community to help bring their family justice with the capture of Valdez. Yep, see you guys, there's a bicycle. 71, you had a very good point. They live on the top. They live on the second floor. So it seems like if there had been problems before, or even just problems, it sounds like there was a big fight that night, and they fought, and so it seems like somebody below should have heard them. But a lot of places and a lot of times people feel like they should mind their business and make it worse for the victim and things like that. I don't know. Stockton police responded at 11 p.m. on December 23rd to an apartment in the Sierra Vista neighborhood after receiving a report of 2 unresponsive people. So we now know that it was Marissa that had called, and it said, when police arrived, they found Montejano, who appeared to have been battered. Huerta suffered from what appeared to be lacerations, police said. Following an investigation, police said detectives believed the killings were domestic related, and the search for Valdez began. Court records show that Valdez had 4 criminal cases against him dating back to 2016. On July 29, 2020, Valdez was arrested by the Tracy Police Department following a road rage incident. That's what I just read, you guys. That had involved a driver opening fire on another motorist during the day. At the time, police said the shooting occurred where I told you guys that address, and it said it took 2 weeks for him to be arrested back then. Hopefully it doesn't take that long to arrest him this time. It says in 2021, Valdez was sentenced to 16 months in prison in connection with the crime. So he only got 16 months for that, you guys. He had been charged with negligent discharge of a firearm and a felon in possession of a firearm. They need to crack down on that big time, felon in possession of a firearm. Court records also show he had been convicted of making criminal threats in San Mateo County in 2016. At the beginning of this year, Valdez had another run-in with the court system when he was charged with aid by misrepresentation and perjury. Prosecutors claim Valdez had received $10,150 from the San Joaquin County Human Services Agency through aid by misrepresentation. Wonder what that means, you guys. Human Services Agency through aid by misrepresentation. I'll have to look that up. Hey, Aries, I am well. I hope you are too. Good to see you. At a September 13th preliminary hearing for that case, Valdez has changed his plea of not guilty to guilty and agreed to sign a prohibited persons relinquishment form, prohibiting him from possessing firearms according to court documents. So again, well, he's a felon, so why did they have to specifically make him sign a form saying that he knew he couldn't have firearms? That doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever. So he wasn't even on probation from the road rage. He was on probation from the money stuff. Valdez was placed on parole for 2 years. His parole was set to end in 2026. A separate criminal complaint had also been filed by the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office against Valdez on July 3rd. In the complaint, prosecutors accused him of stealing or obtaining property by extortion. That case was ultimately dismissed. We're learning all sorts of stuff. In the days following the deadly incident, family, friends, and supporters of the mother and son gathered at the apartment complex where the killings had occurred. 15 religious candles, 2 bouquets of flowers, and a silver cross were left at the vigil scene in memory of the pair. Oh, you guys, that's a beautiful picture. Just above where the vigil was held, the apartment of Montejano still had decorations hung in preparation for the holidays. Yeah, that was really sad too, you guys. She still had her Christmas wreath on her front door. The gray apartment, right here, it says the gray apartment door had a Christmas wreath hung, a snowman in the corner, and lights and candy cane displays hung from the rails of the stairs. A GoFundMe has been set up for funeral expenses. A $10,000 reward is currently being offered for information that leads to his arrest. And I do want to mention again, you guys, that I do have the link to their GoFundMe in the description. But like I always say, do your due diligence and look into it, first. But I really feel that it's for their funeral expenses. Just having the money to pay for one funeral out of the blue is a lot, but imagine having to pay for 2. Heather Bratt says that pic gave me chills. It does me too, Heather. It really does. And remember, guys, I also have the number to call at the bottom of my screen, in my description, and also in my community post. Okay, you guys, so now I have a video from the vigil that it includes the vigil. I couldn't find a video just specifically of the vigil. Let me see here. Let me find it. This Bubble Up app, it helps me so much, you guys. Or I would have even more trouble finding stuff. Okay, I'll share it with you. Hang on just one second. Well, let me see here. Okay, yeah, this is it. I'd have a lot more trouble if I didn't have this app. Hey, grateful middle-aged cat mama, how are you? It's good to see you. Okay.
Members are remembering 43-year-old Alicia Montejano and 19-year-old son, Reuel Huerta. Stockton police say their bodies were found last night in their home on Bellevue Avenue near East 11th Avenue and South Airport Way. Police identified the suspect as 38-year-old Julio Ceasar Valdez. The victim's family tells KCRA3 that Valdez was Montejano's boyfriend.
Police say the double murder is not random and appears to be a case of domestic violence. Investigators say there was no forced entry, no gun was used, and tonight, police tell KCRA3 the mother appeared to have been battered and her son had cuts on his body.
Really trying to deep dive into why this homicide occurred. And so what we can tell you as of right now is it does appear to be a domestic dispute related.
KCRA 3's Carolina Estrada was there as friends and family gathered for that vigil tonight.
She spoke to the victim's daughter and shares their story tonight.
This is not the Christmas we wanted.
This is Alicia's brother, and he speaks, and then her daughter speaks too at the vigil, and then I have another video after this of where Reuel's dad speaks too. A lot of people say that vigils don't make a difference, but I feel that they do, because you know that news agencies are going to come out and cover it, so that gets the story in the news. And also, it's not just for that, you guys, it's for the victims to come together in prayer, and I think that that helps them too. So sometimes if it doesn't have any more impact than that, that's enough, you know.
A Stockton family grieving on Christmas Eve.
It's a tragedy, I'm sorry. It's a big loss for the family.
After a mother and a son were murdered Monday night at an apartment on Bellevue Avenue near 11th Street in Stockton.
My sister and my nephew that were murdered last night.
The family identified the victims as 43-year-old Alicia Montejano and 19-year-old Reuel Huerta.
There's no words I could come up with that's going to bring my sister back or my nephew. But the horrific things he did to him and what he did to her is unthinkable.
Tuesday night, dozens gathered in prayer to remember their loved ones.
No podemos cambiarla, no podemos ya hacer nada.
Montejano left behind a daughter, Marissa Vigil.
The most loving and accepting person you will ever meet. She'll always keep a smile on your face and always make you laugh no matter what.
That is Marissa Vigil, you guys, and I believe she was the older sister, and now she is with not only without her mother and her 19-year-old brother, but she'll never be able to get that picture of them out of her head. You know, it's hard enough when you have to see your family members in their caskets, you know, you guys. That's hard enough, but to see them like that, I just can't imagine. So she definitely needs our prayers too, you guys. Hey, Jen, it's good to see you. How are you? And how are the quackers and the fur babies? How are all y'all? I hope good.
No matter what. That was my best friend.
Vigil also describes her brother as a quiet and sweet teen whose life was taken too soon.
I just want you to keep them, remember. Don't forget about them. Please.
Police are now searching for 38-year-old Julio Ceasar Valdez in connection to the murders.
This person took their lives and no remorse at all.
I want that person caught.
Family says Valdez was Montejano's boyfriend. Now Vigil is calling for the community's help to bring her family closure.
If anybody knows or sees anything, please tell us or contact the police department, because this ripped a big piece of our hearts out. We want this man gone. We want this man caught.
In Stockton, Carolina Estrada, KCRA 3.
And you guys, where she said, please don't forget about them. I want this man caught. And if I didn't do that, if I didn't have my own channel and I didn't do these sorts of things, this might make me come out of my shell to do it anyways, because things like that, you know, if we can just spread our little awareness where we can. I always tell you guys that we don't need to go viral. We just need the right person to see. Just one person. Yeah, Sunday says, doubt he's still around on this earth, cowards like that. Yep, that's what I'm thinking, Sunday, because we know that he has spent at least 16 months in jail. So he knows if he goes for this, it's going to be forever, you know? And cowards that hurt women and children, they don't want to face the consequences, you know? Kathy, I'm so very sorry. I understand too, if you guys need to step away from cases like this, I totally understand. And it won't hurt my feelings not one bit if you have to step away, and you can meet us next time when we're doing one of our happy ending stories. Absolutely. Self-care is the most important care all the time.
Grade 3 News.
And we want to give you another look at the suspect, 38-year-old Julio Valdez. They believe he is dangerous and was last seen driving a 4-door gray sedan. If you know anything about his whereabouts, you are asked to call Stockton police. And there is a Crime Stoppers reward of $10,000 for information leading to his capture and arrest.
Friends and neighbors.
Kathy, you said something. You said you felt her pain, but it's not about you. When there's stories of children, you guys know I don't have children, and I know that it's probably harder for you guys that do. But the kids' stories really, really get to me. And I think, well, if these babies had to go through it, the least I can do is listen to it. But that doesn't help in the end. We have to be able to speak up where we can and share what we can. And if we get burnt out, we're not good for anybody, you guys, you know. Okay, I think I have another video of Marissa, so Alicia's daughter and Raul's sister. They do an interview at the grandparents' house, and Raul's father, Rudy, he speaks too. You are, Heather Brat. You're my youngin', for sure. Debbie says, I think that's why I hate Chris Watts. Oh, yeah. He's #1 monster. Well, there's a lot of monsters out there, but he's definitely one of them. That was the case that actually brought me to YouTube. Watts Island. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but don't go searching on the GPS because it's not good. Tony says the stories involving kids break my heart too, although they all are very sad. Yeah, and then the ones about the elderly or the people that women and children too. That a lot of them. So let me find that other video that I had for you guys. Let me see here. Yep. I'll share this one with you guys too. And if there's any of my resources that you guys need, I know my friend Case, she can't see some articles sometimes on screen. And so sometimes we have had to ask creators to, hey, NorCal, how are you? Oh, I hope you have a good vacation, dude. I really, really do. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, so she can't see articles on screen sometimes. So we have had to ask creators to share those articles with us privately so she could print them out. So if you guys ever need anything like that, I don't care a bit. Just email me. And while we're at it, you can email me to get into my Discord if you want. Or if you ever have anything that you need to bring awareness to, please email me because that's what we do here, you know? Okay, now let me get us back there.
manhunt underway in Stockton. Police are trying to find 38-year-old Julio Valdez. He's suspected of killing a Stockton woman and her son days before Christmas. The tragedy leaving a family heartbroken this holiday season. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras talked with the grieving family today.
The search for that man is still active, and police tell me they haven't had any updates since the day all of this happened. And no updates, though, means no comfort for that family, which desperately wants justice. Christmas never came for 19-year-old Reuel Huerta and his mom, Alicia Montejano.
Christmas was hard.
Photos of the two on the table at their grandparents' home, and under the tree, presents that'll never be given.
He wouldn't want clothes, like he wouldn't want nothing like that. He was so smart, and he made money on the computer. That was his passion.
And my mom, she was the most funniest person ever. Like, I promise you, she'll always put a smile on your face. That was my person for everything.
A bright smile like the one as...
Oh, you guys, she said that her mama was her person. You guys know I talk about my mama all the time, and people talk about, well, he or she lives in their mama's basement. Like, that's a bad thing, you guys. I wouldn't let my mama move out away from me for nothing. And my mama is my best friend, too. Yeah, her name is Marissa Vigil, 71, and she is Alicia's daughter and Reuel's sister. So, yep. That was her mom, too, and she's the one that found them. She does look young, doesn't she? She was 43 years old. Yeah. Yeah.
As the mom and son stood together on this day.
This was for my little brother's 8th grade promotion.
An image Marissa Vigil will never forget.
I found them.
Unlike the one she's now forced to live with.
I couldn't believe it. And it felt like I was dying at the time. I couldn't breathe. And I still can't get the pictures out of my head.
The picture of this apartment unit on Bellevue Avenue Monday night, where police say 38-year-old Julio Valdez beat and killed Marissa's mom and brother. Family members say Julio was Alicia's boyfriend and hasn't been heard from since.
And Lord, we grieve with them.
At the scene Thursday, prayers for peace.
He did not deserve this.
As the family pleads for justice.
Justice. He had the biggest heart. He would not hurt nobody.
Now their family's hearts hurt, and a presence this year replaced with pain.
The pain gets harder and harder. We can't sleep. We can't eat. I can't even, my head's not okay.
And how do you get over a loss like this? Well, the family is still trying to figure that out. They said the one thing that could bring them some peace is through justice. And officers here at the Stockton Police Department believe the same thing, but they're asking for your help. They have a $10,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. Meanwhile, the family is raising funds for a funeral on GoFundMe. In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
If that daughter didn't hit your feels, I don't know if you got feels, really, guys, because that was so sad. She says she can't eat, she can't sleep, and her head's not right. And I hope that she, I know it's not the right time. Well, it might be, I'm not sure, but I hope that she gets counseling if she can, because counseling helps everybody, but especially grief counseling for things like this, I believe in wholeheartedly. Let's look at their pictures again, you guys. We'll look at their pictures again, and then I want to tell you guys about that case that we covered in July, too. I don't have a whole lot on this case, you guys, that we're talking about today. And isn't it sad when you think about it that there's nothing on News Nation about it, like all of these other crimes have, well, like Luigi Mangione. That case interested me because he was not who you would think would commit a crime like that. But he but there was so many videos about him, and then so many other video on News Nation, and then so many other videos about the sheriff and the judge, but they haven't said a word about this. And they're because they weren't well, I don't know, you guys. But there is a $10,000 reward, but lately it seems like all that we hear about are the $250,000 reward and stuff like that. I just think that you guys feel me. It's aggravating and saddening and disappointing all in the same time. So this is him. He's 38 years old. He's 5'7" and between 190 to 220 pounds. Julio Ceasar Valdez. And then this is him with a thicker beard. Back it up. Back it up a little bit. Kathy, I knew you would feel me. I know you guys feel me. And I really appreciate that too. I really, really do. And this is his car, which I'm like 71. I doubt that he's still in this car. But this is what it looks like. It looks like some kind of Chrysler. And I always pay it to maybe a 300 or something like that. I believe what they're called. And it's got the silver wheels. I pay attention to the wheels a lot. 71 says they won't ever find him. I don't know. I kind of feel you too about that. Sunday, I'm glad you feel me too. You guys are my peoples. I'm glad I got you guys to talk to about this stuff. Look at them, you guys. So this was his 8th grade graduation, she said. So that was what, 4, 5, 6 years ago? Beautiful. Well, if it does help a little bit to know that they're together. I believe they're together now. So that eases my mind a little bit. And the numbers to call are at the bottom of my screen and on my community post. So now I want to talk to you guys about the case that I covered. It was July the 11th, I believe. And I'm going to show you guys their pictures. They're still missing. Let me go. This is when I had pictures on my, when I still had pictures on StreamYard. So this is them. It is Athena. She's 4 years old. And Mateo is 2 years old. And then Cameron Lee in the middle is 38 years old. Their mom, Angelica Bravo, was found. She was a cosmetology teacher. And remember, you guys, she was absolutely beautiful, drop dead gorgeous. She was 28 years old, I believe. And they had to do a welfare check at her house. Well, at Cameron's house. She'd been staying with him. And they found her deceased in the bathtub. Well, this was in July. And they still... No, 71, they still haven't been found either. And it reminded me, I always try to go through the cases that we've covered and see if there's any updates. And since the one we covered today was in California, it reminded me of these babies. So I wanted to see if there was any updates about them. And still no updates. They have him he has a warrant out for separate gun charges. And you guys, they found his car. They found it abandoned in Mexico, but they still haven't found him or the babies. And remember, we were looking at that tattoo on his neck. It says timeless. Let me remove this and make timeless, I believe, is what we figured out. And they did find his car abandoned in Mexico, but they still haven't found him or the babies. And he is wanted on a separate gun charge right now, but they still haven't said that, yeah, he does, Heather. He absolutely looks hateful. They still haven't told the cause of death for Angelica. They do say, I believe they said that it was a homicide, but they haven't said a cause of death, and they also haven't put out a warrant for murder, I don't think, for him yet. Yeah, he has an outstanding warrant on unrelated gun charges. Yeah, so I have a video that her mama made recently. I believe it just came out on December 19th. So I figured that we could watch that. Let me find it for you guys. Debbie says, "Oh, wowzers, they haven't found him. Hope those babies are okay." I know. And they're still angry that that they didn't put out an Amber Alert for the kids. They did a endangered alert, I think, but it was many days afterwards. So they found her on 7/8, and on 7/11, law enforcement issued an alert in 7 counties in California for the children. They believe that the children were dropped off before he crossed over into Mexico. He crossed over into Mexico the day after she was found deceased. So, and then on 8/6, so almost a month later, is when they issued that outstanding warrant on unrelated gun charges for Cameron Lee. Okay, guys. This one is an article. So let me come back and get you guys. It says, Angelica Bravo was found dead inside a home in North Sacramento almost 6 months ago. Her children are still missing along with their father. A grandmother is making a desperate plea to find her grandchildren less than a week before Christmas. Yep, so this was December 19th. Angelica Bravo was found dead inside a home in North Sacramento almost 6 months ago, and her children are still missing along with their father. Bravo was buried at St. Mary's Cemetery and Funeral Center back in August. Her family is still searching for answers. Dawn Badea visits her daughter's gravesite weekly. She brought fresh flowers and Christmas decorations Thursday to mark the holiday. "I'm just missing her a lot, just thinking about what she loved about Christmas," said Badea. Since Bravo's death, her family and the Sacramento Police Department have searched for her 2 missing children, 4-year-old Athena Lee and 2-year-old Mateo Lee. And remember, she also had an older daughter in her teenage years, and she thankfully is fine and staying with family members. But I know that not only does she have to deal with the grief of losing her mama, but also her brother and sister. Don't know where they are, worrying if they're cold or being fed, and that's awful on her too. I would, Heather Bratt says, if he's caught in Mexico, they will extradite him back to the U.S. I pray they catch him and those babies are safe somewhere. Me too, Bratt. Absolutely. It says the children are believed to be with their father, Cameron Lee, who police are still calling a person of interest. His car was last seen crossing the Mexico border. I mean, it's incredibly difficult for the whole family. Obviously, we miss her a lot, but we really miss Athena and Mateo. That's been a really big piece of what's so hard to kind of really just move forward in our grief, because I feel like we're just a little stuck because there's so much unknown about the kids, said Badea. The family says they're still waiting on an official autopsy report. ABC 10 reached out to the Sacramento coroner's office on Thursday, who said it can take up to 6 months for a cause of death to be determined. Well, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Well, that's just January. Elizabeth says, taking Chandler and Valerie to the vet, they need prayers. It's not good for either. We'll be listening. Oh, bless your heart, Elizabeth. We definitely will. We definitely will. We all love the babies over here, fur babies and human babies. Absolutely. Bodea feels having it will allow for clarity and help them with more resources to find the children. Having a homicide ruling on her autopsy report will then obviously put into effect a lot of different things that will happen, said Bodea. From my understanding, that should help speed up or at least start the process for certain things to be happening with finding the kids. The family is also seeking justice for a once joyful mother of 3 who loved the holidays. I know somebody has to know something out there, and just hopefully keeping their pictures around and the awareness about them being missing, somebody might see them and can say, hey, I remember them, and be able to call it in. And now they're offering a reward up to $12,000 for the safe return of Mateo and Athena. And then it says the Sacramento Police Department told ABC 10 Thursday it's still working with local, state, and federal partners to continue the investigation. Anyone with information can call their tip line at 916-808-0560. So now I figured we can watch this video because her mama talks about them. We'll probably get
Hey,
an
Fidelity.
ad.
How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app.
That's what sucks about articles, you guys. You can't buy premium to get rid of the ads. And this one is a long one, dudes. We got 12 more seconds, guys. Hang on. Hang in with me. We're almost there.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. First at 5, the search continues for 2 young children missing months after their mother was killed.
I want you to take a look. 28-year-old Angelica Bravo was found dead in a Sacramento home in July. Since then, investigators have been searching for her 2 children. They are believed to be with their father, Cameron Lee.
And tonight, less than a week before Christmas, a woman is making a desperate plea to find her grandchildren.
ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has more on the investigation.
Just rinse it and get some fresh water.
About once a week, Dawn Bodea visits the gravesite of her daughter, Angelica Bravo. For the holidays, she's brought fresh flowers and Christmas tree decorations.
Just missing her a lot. Yeah. Just thinking a lot about what she loved about Christmas, Yeah.
On July 8th, Bravo, a mother of 3, was found dead inside a home in North Sacramento. Since her death, her family and the Sacramento Police Department have been searching for her 2 missing children, 4-year-old Athena Lee and 2-year-old Mateo Lee. The children are believed to be with their father, Cameron Lee, who police are still calling a person of interest.
Yep, timeless is what his tattoo says. I will have to look up his stats. I'm sure I've got them somewhere. Let's see. I'll look for that, guys.
His car was last seen crossing the Mexico border.
I mean, it's been incredibly difficult for the whole family. Obviously, we miss her a lot, but we really miss Athena and Mateo. That's been a really big piece of what's so hard to kind of really just move forward in our grief, because I feel like we're a little just stuck because there's so much unknown about the kids.
Bodea says the family is also still waiting on an autopsy report from the Sacramento County Coroner's Office. On Thursday, we reached out to the coroner's office, which says it could take up to 6 months for a cause of death to be determined. Bodea feels having it will allow for clarity and help them with more resources to find the children.
Having a homicide ruling on her autopsy report will then obviously put into effect a lot of different things that will happen. And
the family also seeking justice for a once joyful mother of 3 who loved the holidays.
I know somebody has to know something out there, and just hopefully keeping their pictures.
Do you guys think, I was thinking about this earlier, what could be the reason that it's not a homicide ruling yet? Do you think that they're trying to catch him so before that they bring out those charges, because they think that he most likely won't try to run further if it's a worse charge like that he might feel safe and let his guard down and stuff like that? I was thinking about that earlier. That could be a possibility. Hey, Chopper. Hey, Adrian. It's good to see you guys. 71 says not enough evidence. Very possibly. Very possibly. Chopper, yeah, I was thinking about that. That could be why. I don't know. I can't remember any other case where it's happened like this. I don't know. But you guys, remember it was the same time that remember that other little girl, she was missing, Soraya on Harmon. Remember, she was missing in Mexico too around the same time, I think, and they found her. A man seen her and her dad sleeping in their car, and he called. So it is possible. So we can't give up hope yet. You know, people are found down there like that.
Around, and the awareness about them being missing, that, you know, somebody might see them and say, hey, I remember, you know, and be able to call it in.
Now, family and friends of Angelica Bravo have increased the reward to $12,000 for the safe return of Mateo and Athena Lee.
When I'm hungry, my stomach hurts. I get sad.
So you guys remember the phone number down here to call is the Sacramento Police Department, or you could probably call the FBI too, because this is a federal investigation, and it's 916-808-0560. There is one more thing that I want to show you guys before we leave. I know after the holidays, it seems like after Christmas too, we all kind of get in a funk. It's like we were anticipating, you know, Christmas, and then it's like, well, it's still winter. You know, we're ready for spring by now. So there is a 1-minute video that I found with some tips the other day that I wanted to share with you guys. And I'll also share it with you guys right now so that you can watch it later if you want to. Because I don't like to leave us on a bad note. So I think I got some good tips from it, so it's worth sharing with you guys. Let me see here. How I get through the dead of winter, and it's this news guy. And that's true, Chopper. Chopper says, look at it like this. If a person was going to rob a bank, would you tell the bank robber in the bank that you're hiding behind the door if you were an officer and you had them in your sight? That is a very good point. Very good point. Hopefully they do.
How are you feeling today? A little depressed because Christmas is over? I get it. We're approaching a time of year many people dread. Outside of New Year's, the holidays, they are over, and we are headed into the heart of winter. I used to always dislike this upcoming time of year while growing up in the Midwest. We would go days, even weeks, without seeing the sun. Don't even get me started on the temperatures. I am so happy it's not as bad here, but it can still be a challenge to get out of bed on some cold winter mornings. Every year around this time, I challenge myself to try to find things to look forward to.
That reminded me, he says it's a challenge to get out of bed on cold winter mornings. That's another point too, guys. I know a lot of you guys deal with chronic pain like I do, and where I broke my back, that's what caused my spinal cord injury. So T12 down towards the bottom, I have a titanium cage with 4 steel screws. They told my mama they put it back together like popcorn. But anyways, it seems like when it's colder or when it rains, it hurts so much worse, you guys. And my shoulders, where I have to transfer myself so much. So that's another thing that gets all of us down, I don't know if you guys are like that, but one of my other friends, it's actually the opposite. So cold weather helps her pain. So that's good for people like that. But for the rest of us, it's the cold weather and the rain makes it worse.
For example, I'm done with worrying about Christmas shopping, and I get to help a friend celebrate a birthday milestone in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks. The new year also brings about the feeling of a fresh start, a new beginning where we all can start from scratch and consider improving some aspect of our lives. Maybe it sticks, or maybe you'll need to go back to the drawing board. But at the very least, you made an attempt. I guess my point is, if you're like me and dreading the dead of winter, find something to look forward to, or try adding something to your routine that'll make you feel good. It might be the key to avoiding those winter blues. That's just my 2 cents. And you're 4 to 5.
So he said, try. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I live by routines. Every day I eat breakfast at a certain time, and usually it's the same thing, you guys. I always usually have either oatmeal with fruit in it or yogurt with fruit in it. And so I do that, and then I, have my same routine, and then I always go to bed about the same time every day. And so what he says is to add something to your routine that makes you happy, whether it's taking a 5-minute walk outside, even just 5 minutes, or making a special drink like a special hot chocolate or something, like that. And Tony says changes in weather bothers her too. Yep. Yeah. And Heather Bratt, we know she's always cold, so she hates the cold weather. We know that. Grateful middle-aged cat mama says the rain causes pain, but heat causes all sorts of bad symptoms for me. I think winter is my best season for my body, but not my feelings and emotions. That's something to think about too. It really is. If you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments after this video too, so that people watching the replay, we could all share with each other, And can you guys, when I say she's Nature Rocks in here, but if I ever say Vanessa or Van, that's her. And her channel is really good too. She has a lot of videos and pictures of the outside, and of the summertime she put a whole lot, so we can look back on those right now to get us through too. Elizabeth says air bothers me because my trigeminal neuralgia, the wind hits the nerve. Elizabeth, I don't know if I've ever told you, but I'm not breaking any confidences because she has spoken about it publicly, but Haunting Haley has that. She has that exact same thing. Is it where a nerve in your brain causes she explained it to me around the eye. I think she gets really bad migraines and things like that. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah. So I hate that we all go through stuff like this, you guys, but I like that we're all in the same boat, and we're not in our boat alone. We're not up Shiz Creek without a paddle alone, basically. We can all talk to each other about stuff. Well, I hope they can get you figured out, Chopper. Over there, you guys call it a chemist, huh? Yeah. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. That's another thing. You guys know, when I got hurt, I was actually on my way to work, one of my 2 jobs, and I was going to college at that same time. So literally in the blink of an eye, my career changed too. That's a lot to go through too. It absolutely is. Yeah. And Grateful Middle-aged Cat Mama, that's true. I don't like the heat either. So I don't like the extreme cold or the heat. With spinal cord injury, it's like you can't get your temperature right. Sometimes I'll have my legs covered up with blankets and then ice packs on my neck. For real, for real. Oh, I see what you're saying, Chopper. What was my question? Oh, trigeminal neuralgia. That's what Elizabeth says that she suffers from. And Haunting Haley, I think that's what she suffers from too. Yeah. I miss her. I haven't seen her in a bit. I'll have to check on her. If I don't see you guys around, I do notice. And that's good too, you guys, to check on each other during times like this. I was asking about oh, I was asking about trigeminal neuralgia. If it was with the nerves behind your eyes, and you get bad migraines and things like that. I was just curious if that's what it was, because Haunting Haley said she had something like that, but I couldn't remember if that was the exact wording or not. Yeah, I haven't heard from Violet either, man. Violet Days, if you hear this, we all love you and we miss you very, very much. Yeah. Oh, I would say that dental procedures would exacerbate that really bad, Elizabeth. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Oh, well, Heather, you remember what Erin told us. She said that she said to put your shoes on. If you want to get your motivation kick started during the day, put your shoes on. It'll get you going. That's what she says. And it really works for her. Yeah, I miss Violet too, Debbie. I don't know where she is. She usually checks in with me, but I haven't heard from her in a long while. Yeah. Yeah. Well, bless you for doing that, Elizabeth, because a lot of us aren't in the position to, and but people like you are definitely needed in this world. Definitely. You have tried it, Brat. It has helped you. She says, I've definitely done that, Mo, and it really does trick your brain into getting stuff done. Well, you you tried it for us, Heather. Thank you. So that's 1 point for yes, it does work. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I've kept you guys a long time today, and please help me pray that Julio is caught ASAP and nobody else is hurt. And please help me pray that for Athena and Mateo too. We covered their case in July. Well, we didn't cover it. I don't think I'm not an investigative journalist or anything, but I spoke about their case and brought awareness to it. And it's been 5, almost 6 months now, and still nothing from them. Okay, you guys, I love you all. And don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers too. And email me if you have anything else that we need to bring awareness to. I usually go live on Mondays at 2 p.m., but I can also go live any other times, or I can make videos, or we can use my community post if we need to. Okay, I love you all. Here's Vanessa's channel one more time, you guys. Please sub up to her. We love her. Okay, you guys, I love you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.